On shuttle rocket boosters, a wing and a prayer, America is back in the astronauts in space business.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Roger, go.
Go they did, to reach for the sky and orbit. This is the CBS Evening News. Dan Rather reporting tonight from the Kennedy Space Center. Good evening. The all-veteran 5-member crew of Discovery is in orbit, and here at the Kennedy Space Center, they're floating on air. The space shuttle program is off the ground again. 2.5 years after Challenger, this is the shakedown flight of a redesigned shuttle program with new safety rules. NASA bent its own new safety rules a bit today to get this shot up, but get it up they did, and successfully. Tonight, the astronauts accomplished the main task of the mission. They tested and then released from the cargo bay a 2.5-ton satellite called TDRS, a $100 million satellite NASA needs for its communications network. Mission accomplished. But the most important mission of Discovery is still in progress. That's to fly safely all the way, to prove that all the shuttle fixes that worked on paper will work in the air and in space. They started proving it today. 6:52 a.m. Bathed in cold, eerie light, NASA technicians looked Discovery over for what they hoped would be one final time before it left into space. For a while, a good long while, it appeared as if Discovery's 5-man crew would find themselves in an all-too-familiar position, all dressed up with no place to go. 7:27 a.m. Hugh Harris, the voice of Mission Control. There would be a hold.
The wind is much lighter and from a different direction than the vehicle is programmed to be taking advantage of.
Computers aboard Discovery had been programmed 2 weeks ago to account for high winds during liftoff. Lighter winds, NASA said, would mean additional stress on the orbiter because the computer had been programmed for the opposite effect, and the computer program could not be changed in time. 10:03 a.m. The mood dramatically shifts. Launch Director Bob Seek talks to the crew.
Stay with us. I think we'll make it.
Well, we don't want this thing to leave without us.
New data was in place, a, quote, refined engineering analysis. That required, however, a waiver of launch rules. The winds suddenly were officially within safety margins. 11:24 a.m. Cleared for takeoff.
We come out of the hold in approximately 3 minutes.
The countdown was back on. The towers moved back. And America thundered back into space. Watch and listen.
2, 1, 0, and liftoff. Liftoff. Americans return to space as Discovery clears the tower.
3 inches at 104%.
For the men and women workers here at the Kennedy Space Center and at other NASA centers, this was the day they waited for, the day they could soar again, to prove the can-do space agency still could. Our CBS News veteran space program correspondent Bruce Saul is here now after spending the long, anxious night with them and on into daylight and delight. Bruce?
Dan, with all the delays, all the agony, the launch wound up at 11:37, just 1 minute earlier than that tragic day 32 months ago when Challenger lifted off. For NASA employees, that added to the tension and emotion.
For the close-knit space family, the future was riding on the shoulders of the Discovery crew. Another failure like Challenger could have signaled the end of America's manned space program. With every delay, apprehension grew. Reins were moving toward the launch site, but Discovery pilot Dick Covey tried to ease the tension.
For the benefit of the crew and those on air to ground one, the latest winds data aloft did show some improvement.
Finally, there was that slight shift in the winds and that quick decision, go for launch.
And liftoff. Liftoff. Americans return to space as Discovery...
In the control room, remembering Challenger, they stared at their screens in silence for 2 minutes, 4 seconds until after the boosters separated. Then there was a sigh of relief and congratulations from NASA Administrator James Fletcher.
Wow. That was really something. The nation owes you a lot. and we'll continue to owe you a lot in the months and years to come.
It was the end of months of remorse, restructuring, and rebuilding.
You could almost feel the emotional drain from the people there, and I thought that it just symbolized, again, the pride in the realization of the significance of what everybody had done.
While NASA and America applauded the launch, some in the space community said it wasn't time for NASA to rest on its laurels.
We've got 18 shuttle launches scheduled before the end of 1990, and it's the ability to meet that kind of schedule that'll be the real test of how the system is good.
For some time, NASA has been saying it would be ready to return to space by September 29th. It was a nerve-wracking morning, but Dan, NASA was true to its word.
And all up and down this Florida coast, as you know, Bruce, the roads and shorelines were full of people, full of expectation. They came to watch a space shuttle lift off and light up the sky, something they hadn't seen in a very long time. Correspondent Peter Van Sant was with them as they got what they came for and more.
They came in the night by the tens of thousands, turning roads into campsites and the area around the Space Center into a giant parking lot. They had to be here.
I promised myself, and I'm keeping that promise. I will see this Discovery go up.
This is what America needs. We need to forge ahead, you know? And I'm praying to Almighty God that this goes up and everyone's safe.
At dawn, the crowds, emotions, and expectations continued to build.
I came all the way from Rochester, New York to see it, and I think we really need it.
Even 3-year-old Alexander Summer was fired up.
Well, it's going to be over there. But I thought it's going to be over there.
You're going to blast off?
Some will be watching Discovery ride the flame into space with apprehension. The memories of the Challenger disaster still fresh in their minds.
I'm going to fear that something is going to go wrong, but I think they've got it together this time and everything's going to go good.
The children of Challenger 7 Elementary School, just miles from the launch site, saw the worst 32 months ago. They needed a successful launch.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I'm just so happy that we finally did it. It took long enough.
Everywhere people had gathered, they cheered Discovery's brilliant light.
I feel damn proud to be in America now.
We're looking forward to this so much.
It's a big load off our shoulders.
Thank God.
Among those most touched by Discovery's ascent, a group of students and teachers from Boulder, Colorado, who returned 2.5 years after watching Challenger disintegrate before their eyes. This time, there were tears of joy.
Once it had gotten to the point of past where Challenger was, and they said go at throttle up, and it kept going. That was just more than I could explain.
It was so frightening, and it's such a relief to see it hit that peak and then go.
It's amazing. It's fantastic. It's like the excitement is so great.
It was great to look up there and see the full, complete contrail. You know, that was wonderful.
It was like 2 years of emotion pent up that all came out at once.
Relief, success. America back where it belongs, in space. Peter Van Sant, CBS News at the Kennedy Space Center.